Hey, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Hope everybody is doing well. I threw out a couple of wrenches real quick. Don't be offended if you didn't get one. I just wanted to throw a couple of people in as moderators, being it's the first night. Well, really the first real live that I was prepared for with some clips and stuff. And I just want to make sure that um, you all are protected and that I'm protected, and we don't need any nonsense in here. You know, they sneak in sometimes. So if you guys could handle that, I'd appreciate it. So let's see who's here this evening. Justin Ray El Gato Diaz, my new friend. Thank you for stopping by, and I appreciate you promoting my live and my channel. Thank you very much, my friend. Star, Wanda, Mia's mommy, Rabbit of Chaos, Deadly, Westies. What's up, y'all? There's me. Steven, Betty Boo, Tosh, Mikey, Zen, Jimmy Smiths. How y'all doing tonight? It's your boy Brew. How you doing? So, guys, the topic for tonight: ghosts, shadow figures, doppelgangers, and your beliefs. Because there is a clip that might change your mind a little bit. Well, some of these might change your mind. You know, some of this stuff. When I thought about this title, I was thinking about basically ghosts. Where do they go? Why are some of them stuck? Do they have the same? Are they bound to this dimension? Are they interdimensional once you become a spirit? I don't know. These are the answers that we're all looking for. So I pulled a few things that I thought might catch your interest. So we might as well get into it. Let's see. What should we do first? Well, first off, when you talk about ghosts, what are we talking about? We're talking about, and really, shadow figures, because I believe that shadow figures are not demons. I believe shadow figures are actually, what you're seeing is the shadow of a ghost. You're seeing the it's a human person. That's my belief. Other people have different beliefs. They think they're demonic. I don't believe so. You see them everywhere. You think there's that many demons lurking everywhere? I don't believe so. Just people are scared of the unknown. But you know, it's when you pass, is the energy conscious? That's the big question. So here is a testimony that I want to share with you guys. I got a few of them that I'm going to share, a couple different things. But this one is rather interesting because it kind of laces into space and the different dimensions and time and things like that. And this is an atheist that had a near-death experience, and she was an atheist. So she had a conscious awareness after she passed during surgery. So check out what she has to say. Let's take a look.
I remember being in surgery, and at that moment I felt love. I thought, I must have died on the operating table. The second thought, here's my analytical science mind still kicking in. So wait a minute, if I died, what's all this? Because first of all, I don't believe in anything. Second of all, my parents told me that you're going to go to hell because you're an atheist now. So I'm not experiencing either one of those. And that's when I really began to wonder what the heck was going on and why am I here? I asked that question in my mind, but then there was an answer to the thought I had. And the answer came kind of from around me in the atmosphere.
Okay, now when a lot of the near-death experiences have this in common. They have questions and the answers are right there. You know, either they hear it out loud or they know it. Most of the times what I hear in these testimonies is that they automatically know things. They recognize family members they've never seen before, but it's not a person. They see their energy. And it's a very common, very common thing, and it kind of how do you explain that when it happens to so many different people across the board?
And it was the answer of, this is your home. You are a part of me. You're a part of us. Welcome home. When it said that, welcome home, I lost it because I remembered. That's when it came back to me. And I knew immediately, oh, oh my God, that life that I had on earth was just an illusion. That thing that I was doing down there on earth was really just a temporary state.
Yes. So I agree. I am a believer of reincarnation, past lives, because here's why. You heard that where she remembered. Basically, what I think happens is when you are born, it's like wiping a computer clean, and you press the reset button, and it basically removes your connection to that world. You're no, and what is that world? What is that? When she said that she all of a sudden remembered, and the answers are all there. There is something called the Akashic record. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of this before, but this is something that I believe it ties everything in. And basically, what it is, it's like a storage bank, like of everything that's ever happened. And when you say you are then energy, you're no longer in a human body, you should be able to tap into that Akashic record. There, you can even do that when you're on Earth, like psychic mediums, to be able to talk to people that have passed over and get answers about people that, well, I'm seeing that you're getting ready to take a trip, and you recently bought a truck, and things like that. I apologize about the light. I got the sun coming through the cracks of the blinds here, and it's killing me. But I'll try to make do. So, I mean, to know those things, how do you know that? Well, here's how. I'm going to show you how. This is what I truly believe, guys. And so these are the things that I'm accepting as probable, the more probable than not, as truth for me. But when I first heard of the Akashic record, I was watching Ancient Aliens, and this is what they have to say about it. Here's a clip from that show there.
Although completely invisible to the naked eye, a virtual universe of electromagnetic waves permeates our entire world. And this
Okay, now what do we know? What do we know about EMF? We know that the whole universe is made up of electromagnetic fields, right? So is Earth, our environments. It's so if when you become energy, you should be the rawest form of just that energy to be able to connect. You're then a part of this right here. This is what you become a part of, in my opinion.
vast network of impulses carries within it information and data that we have come to depend on in our digital age. It is the backbone of what is otherwise referred to as the cloud, which remotely stores billions of gigabytes of data.
When we think about the cloud, what we're really talking about is data transfer, information transfer.
Yes.
You're sending bits of information through the air wirelessly, up to satellites, down to servers, back again, into your computer, into your phone, and there's close to 7 billion people using cloud computing now. So you can imagine that pretty much anywhere on the planet that has internet access, you're going to find these hidden sort of secret patterns and codes that are floating around us.
Very much like energies, ghosts, that a house may be haunted, and you hear noises, but you don't see anything. So just like the EMF and these code bits of information going through the air that we don't see, just same thing. But are we with like the cloud? Are we creating a human, like a human version of the, or an Earth version of the Akashic record?
According to historians, the concept of an intergalactic computer was first proposed by scientist J.C.R. Licklider in the 1960s. However, ancient astronaut theorists suggest that the idea may actually trace all the way back to our ancient past. Corva Island, Raichur, India.
Real quick, y'all, when they talk about the Akashic record being a record of everything that happened, when we hear a lot of near-death experiences, what happens? They have what they claim, or what they say is that they see something like a movie screen, and it's a playback of everything they've done, people they've hurt, people they've helped, happy times, sad times, whatever, and you're doing like a life review. So
Religious
it's
pilgrims
redundant.
seeking enlightened wisdom travel here to a temple dedicated to the celestial sage Narada. According to the Hindu scriptures, Narada had the ability to gain access to a hidden domain that most humans are completely unaware of, the realm of cosmic knowledge.
Tales about Narada appear in the Mahabharata, in the Ramayana, in the Puranas. Tradition has it that Narada transcended consciousness to gather his stories and give teachings of great wisdom.
Narada is called Narada Rishi. Rishis are like sages in Western concept. So they have gained this ability to be able to tap into the knowledge.
Kind of like a psychic, right? Same thing. I mean, it's psychics don't have a magical power. They're not tapping into some magical information bank. This is the Akashic record that they are tapping into. And this is something that we all are a part of. We should be able to, and what separates us from that, in my opinion, is that we are in a human body. We aren't just energy. So, we are really a part of it, though. And it's like, I talked about this the other day, like it was explained I was having a theological conversation in jail when I was 18 years old. I was a young and dumb kid, and I was sitting in there, and of course you got nothing to do, so you talk about things like that. And the best explanation that was told to me was that think of life force, energy is like the ocean, and our bodies is like cups, and basically we're dipping from life, from the energy, and dipping a cup of that, and then boom, our vessel, our body is then holding that energy. And when our body dies, the energy goes back to its natural sources, back to the ocean, and it's absorbed back into that, or it's evaporates and then rains down to the ocean, and it goes back to where it came from. Just much like the lady said, she was there, and then all of a sudden she remembered. So I think that there's a reset button that happens when we're born, but it doesn't always wipe out all the information, and that's why we have lots of people that have past life experiences. You have kids that remember their experiences. And when you're a kid, they say that you are more open to paranormal energy, right? Ghosts are, when you're a baby, you don't know that people, you haven't watched TV and you haven't heard society say, well, ghosts don't exist. That's not real. You know what I mean? But you see a lot of babies are looking and interacting with things that you can't see, but they can see them. They can see them. So let's see. Where's it at? I had one of that with some babies. seeing, here we go. Let's check it out. Because this actually happened to my youngest. We've lived in a few places that were haunted, and she was laughing hysterically. She was sitting there. She had a bumble ball, which she was afraid of. She was probably maybe 9 months old. She was crawling around. And you turn that bumble ball on it, and she would get scared of it. Why? Because it was moving on its own, and she was a baby. She didn't understand why that was happening, and it spooked her. But so we went over and turned that off, and I remember the day clearly. My wife and I were sitting there, we're watching a TV program, and my daughter crawls over to the hallway. She's looking down the hallway, and she just, if you're going in a baby's face, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they start laughing hysterically. That's what she was doing. And we're watching her, and we're like, what is she doing? Who's teasing? Who's playing with her? Somebody was. So I think that babies, since they're newly born and they don't know what's tabooed, what's not supposed to be real, and I think they're more pure of an energy. They haven't been tainted and dirtied up by society and people's everyday selfish, self-absorbed lives, which prevent us from really focusing on the big picture. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look. I watched a little piece of this, so I'm not really sure what all is on this to the end. We won't watch all of it. Watch some.
James Parr records his young nephew as he shrieks at something he sees on the wall.
He's still looking at it. Look, he's still looking.
This continues for quite some time. It's hard to tell what the child is thinking, but it seems like a combination of nervousness and excitement. More than once, he appears to back away as if he is fearful of something that is nearby. The child does seem to be completely fascinated by an otherwise blank wall, which is strange, but I am not so sure that this video is paranormal. The kid may just be playing games with his own shadow. What do you think is going on here? Number 10. Stephanie Jenkins is filming her child at the bottom of some steps.
I apologize. The guy sounds like he's talking in slow motion. I don't know why. It's just, some people have a voice for it, some don't. So I apologize for that. This isn't slowed down. He is just talking slow.
When suddenly she goes from smiling to startled.
Whoa.
The child definitely looks like she saw something, but she takes a few steps.
Did you all
into
see
the
that?
next
It looked like
room
something
and
flew
then
by.
quickly forgets about it. Some people have noticed what appears. Number 10.
I thought I seen
Stephanie
something fly by.
Jenkins is filming her child at the bottom of some steps when suddenly she goes
Yeah, did
from
you see that?
smiling
I thought
to
I seen something
startled.
whisk by. Yeah, see? She seen
Oh.
something, and I heard a noise.
The child definitely looks like she saw something, but she takes a few steps into the next room and then quickly forgets about it. Some people have noticed what appears to be an orb float overhead, while
See?
some people think that
Uh-huh.
this is a speck of dust or something similar. Others think it could be a long.
Well, here's my opinion when it comes to the orbs, guys. You see that most of it's dust. It is, and most of it's dust. But when you're investigating and you see an orb, you're not sure if it's dust or not. Well, are there any other things that are going on? Is there unexplained noises? Is there temperature changes? Things like that. Do you feel an energy? So it's not just seeing something fly by. That's not a definitive proof of paranormal activity. Although there are some orbs, like I have one on the channel here. It's a blue orb that, you know what? Let's look at it. Let's take a look. Because this one, there's two orbs that I have on my channel. And one kind of fooled me at first. and I now know what it is. But let's look at them, and you give me your opinion, what you all think. Okay, let's see. Videos. Ooh, do I not have it on this? So I don't have it on. Okay, we'll look at the good one then. The one of them that I put up. It's on my TikTok, and it's what it looks like. And I've seen the orbs before that looks like a barbell. You know, it looks like weights in a barbell. Have you ever seen that on shows before? And this one looked like a string of lights, but what it was a little tiny segment of a spider web with little bitty dewdrops, and it was flying around, much like you see the the barbell orb. So I was like, oh, that's a neat one. But then when I looked at it, it was pointed out to me. So I don't always catch everything. You know, that's why it's always good to have other people look at the evidence. And it was raining, it was windy, so I mean, there you go. Here's one that well, I am not able to explain, and you all give me your opinion. Tell me what you think.
Walking past the Alamato Cemetery when they captured this inexplicable entity on camera.
I caught paranormal anomaly at the cemetery.
This floating blue orb appeared just 2 days after a drunk driver plowed through the cemetery wall. And
now I already know what you're thinking. Stop right there. You're already thinking it's a laser pointer. I know. That's what I thought first. Does anybody own a laser pointer? Do you see the iron fence, how it has individual poles and like slats? You know, when you move that laser pointer across a fence like that, it'll go in between the fence, and then it'll hit the bar and light that up. Then it'll go in between the fence and go further. And so when that thing's moving across the front of that fence, if you can see it, you can see the cursor. See, it'll stop right there. It'll brighten up right there, and then in between right there, it's gonna you won't see it. It'll go further. So this thing is a solid color dancing around. It's not touching those bars or going through the bars, in my opinion. So that rules out laser pointers, and I'm familiar with those because I do own one, so a good one too.
and damaged the headstone of a boy who died in 1877. But no one else in the group noticed the orb, because it was only visible on the screen of Amanda's camera. Not convinced of what she saw on the screen, Amanda immediately checked her surroundings.
We normally debunk everything because I'm super skeptic. So I looked around to see if there was like a laser pointer or, if anybody was doing anything.
But Amanda didn't find anything to account for the hovering bright blue orb.
It's not lens flare. It's not a moth. It's not a lightning bug.
If this was just a light reflecting on the camera lens.
Experienced an orb like this, a real orb, something that's this bright, that's radiating its own light, and it's not just a dust speck that has the IR light reflecting off of it, because that's what normally happens. This, of course, you can tell. If it was a speck of dust, you obviously would not be able to see it. And that's definitely not close to the camera, as you all can tell.
Doesn't. It remains.
But there is a reason. Here's where you take all of the evidence in account. Are there any other things that can account for or add to the validity of this orb, of this paranormal anomaly? Well, they're saying yes. The day before or 2 days before, there was a car that ran up in there and smashed a headstone of a young boy.
To the same spot, no matter where the camera is looking. It's probably something else and probably something more mystical.
Eric and Amanda believe there is a connection between the orb's appearance and the damaged gravestone of the boy.
When we were looking at the video, the orb kept going back and forth through that entrance towards that little boy's grave in the front.
And according to Eric, this isn't the first time the child's spirit has surfaced.
There's a tree at the entrance, and the boy died in the cemetery by falling falling out of that tree. So he's the only one that's buried right there in the front of the cemetery like that. And then
So I mean that right there, that adds validity to the story that there's known sightings of shit of that boy, and being that the one thing that we've seen investigating is that anytime there's a grave site or headstone that's intentionally or accidentally damaged, and you don't try to repair it and show some respect, sometimes it disturbs the rest of that spirit. I don't know if that. See, I'm not a real strong subscriber of that because like really our bodies are only matter now. But see, then is that real though? Is that a fact? Because we do know that there are objects that retain energy and become then haunted objects. So is it safe to say that some people don't want to let go of their physical body and they hang around forever and ever and ever in a cemetery? Well, I say probably yes. I mean but that goes to show, where do ghosts go? Let's see. I thought I had one pulled up about different dimensions, but there's, I believe, 8 dimensions. So that's what that we know of, that we can scientifically prove. So we see in 3D, and so what else is out there? I mean, I don't even think we can comprehend the full spectrum of all the dimensions. And our human brain certainly cannot wrap around infinity, space being never ending. You try to think about it, it's hard to grasp. There's no because everything in our world is finite. It has a start, has a beginning, and an end. So to think about something that is never ending, it doesn't make sense to the human brain. But try explaining mathematics to an ant. You know what I mean? Maybe one day we'll be able to understand it. But as of right now, we're not really technologically advanced. We are, but then we aren't. Because if you think about it along these lines, is the pyramids. Who built the pyramids? They're long gone. So there was technology. They were very technologically advanced for their time. They had all kinds of they had electricity and everything. So, and they talk about being shown things from people, from the chariots of the sky. So there are not human, but extraterrestrials out there that are probably millions, think about this. They've been around for, well, then, see, here's the thing. Here's where it gets weird. If energy cannot be created or destroyed, so are we infinite beings? Is our energy, you know what I mean? Do we just keep coming back and back and back and back and back till the end of freaking time, which is never? So are we going to do this forever? Are we on repeat? Then you think about this. We're not the only ghosts. Humans. So where do our animals go? Because we have, so think about this. So if we pass and there's human ghosts, people ghosts, and then there's animal ghosts, is it safe to say that there's alien ghosts, Bigfoot ghosts, gorilla ghosts, horse ghosts? Yes. Anything that's living is energy, right? So it would all have a life force that continues. So one thing that I've dealt with several times in the last several years here is losses of pets. Has anybody ever experienced that? It's very painful, and it's almost like losing a family member, because our pets are family members. So it's warming for me to know that things like this happen.
This bizarre photo was taken by Kathy Owen of Silver City, California, and clearly shows what appears to be the ghostly face of a dog peering
Can you see it? It looks kind of like a Doberman to me.
through the window. Its eyes, nose, and mouth are all visible. It looks as though it has long, floppy ears, and its face is covered in light, shaggy fur.
Oh, maybe I'm seeing
While
it.
many have claimed that the face has to belong to a ghost dog, others remain a little more skeptical, suggesting that it may simply be a real dog who is peering through a very dirty window. However, the dog certainly does appear to exhibit the qualities often associated with an apparition. Its head doesn't seem to be connected to its body, and it has a wispy, ghost-like appearance. While there is little information available about the photo, it's difficult to know for sure what exactly has been captured. What do you think? Could it really be the ghost of a curious dog peeping through the window?
Well, I've seen many videos of dogs on camera. For instance, I saw one where they have their home ring camera footage, and basically somebody knocks on the door, rings the doorbell, and you see their little doggy, little Yorkie or something, run through the room, and then right behind it, you see another dog that you can clearly see through, running behind them, running to the door, just like he's a puppy that is alive. So it's let's see what else we got. There's any more of them here.
Still occur. Locals claim you can sometimes hear the dog howling in the middle of the night, and many won't venture out for fear of encountering
Yeah, well,
the
these are
ghostly
hauntings
beast.
of dogs. Here's what really gets me excited, and I have one of these actually on my channel. So let me see. Let's see. I'll pull it. And it's a cat. It's a cat, and I've seen plenty of those. Now, I don't know if anybody else has lost pets, but in my house, I have a couple of cats. So when I feel something jump on the bed, I automatically just assume that it's one of the cats. Tony Pizza calling me right now. You believe that? Call me later. I don't want to talk to him anyway. Let's see. Look at this cat. Let me pull up this cat. Now this one really got me excited because I have felt my own cat that we've lost jump on the bed, walk across the bed, lay down. I turn over and look, no cat on the bed. So that's something that many of my friends have experienced. And check it out. This is really neat. These are a couple of catches from security cameras. Only one of them being a pet. Now, what do y'all think about that? I'm looking at that, and I have actually experienced something very similar to that with my the naked eye, and it looks like a mist. What it looks like is a cloud of smoke, a concentrated cloud of smoke, a thin, concentrated cloud of smoke. That for me, it had kind of like the one that I saw looked like. Have you ever seen the glow in the dark plastic? It's kind of off white, has a yellowish greenish tint to it. It was that. It was that tinted color, and it just whoosh. You see it. I would. It's something that I caught out of the corner of my eye the couple times that I saw it. But as I looked really quickly, I saw the end of it trailing away. Another time, I saw it go through a wall, a drywall wall. So with this, I have seen stuff like this before, but I also know that moisture on a lens can cause very similar things. Oh shit! Here I am talking about this, and I didn't even share the damn screen. How about that? Hold on a second, guys.
Noticed
right.
her motion-activated security camera picked up a suspicious
There you
figure
go.
floating into
That's
a
what I was
distant
talking
window.
about.
About an hour later, that same orb triggered her camera again as it left.
Cliff, it looks like an orb has manifested into some sort of like a smoky ectoplasm and moves through walls.
About a year later, Natalie King from Austin, Texas.
This is the one that really excites me because I'm an animal lover.
Just noticed her Nest Cam capturing a black cat walking by.
Now, do you see how you can see the eyes reflecting light on this cat? There's been many times where people see apparitions, and what they see is what appears to be a real person, a real life person standing there, solid and everything. You know, they look real, and then they fade away. That's the thing, you know. So, but this is what happens with this cat. Check this out. This
front door.
This is mind blowing.
The cat setting off her motion-activated camera wasn't concerning, but the way it vanished into thin air was.
I have actually heard of a couple stories of people who have witnessed things like this, where they see a person or animal clear as day, and all of a sudden they just sort of vanish, like they wipe away.
Lee and Pam Carter were watching TV one night when they saw a figure appear on their surveillance camera.
Now, this one, you know, there's a lot of catches these days, and it's not because there's more paranormal activity. Now, I do think there's a whole lot more negativity and stuff going on in the world, but I don't think that that spikes the paranormal activity. What it is that a lot more people have cameras. That's what it, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, if you carried around a camera with film, then you had a camera. But, you know, now everybody has a camera normally in their hand at all times. And then, of course, it's cheap to have home surveillance. So most people have it. And these are the type of things that you catch sometimes. And I got some cryptids that are caught too. You know, that the Fresno night crawler's been caught on home surveillance. But this looks like a residual ghost.
This is the footage we got on our security camera. It looked like something just appeared out of nowhere, and then he come over there. And by that time, the guy.
You can see, let's back it up a little bit. Right there. You can see that this fella has on some type of hat. You can see clearly his face here. You can see the jacket. You can see that his pants are a different color, and you can see his hand. But he clearly is translucent.
Had already disappeared.
And then, gone. They
They
walk into the light, gone.
Down the road, nowhere.
So these are the things that excite me, y'all. So there we go. So I'm going to probably this week. We're going to be going on a tour at a local place here, historical place here. Let me get this down here. And I'm going to do the tour live. And during that tour, I'm going to bring the spirit box and do a spirit box session live. And it should be fun. I'm pretty sure they'll be okay with it. One big misconception that people have is that it's got to be dark or it's got to be nighttime for ghosts to appear. And that's simply not true. I think that a lot of the ghost hunter shows, they do that at night because it adds to the atmosphere, the feeling of the show. It makes it more cinematic, and you know, it makes it more suspenseful. But I've experienced most of the stuff. Well, not I don't know, maybe half and half. A lot of the stuff happens during the day. I've had stuff happen early in the morning. I've had stuff happen midday. You know, then of course I've had it happen at 3 a.m. too, which is the time that people like stuff to happen the least. But I don't run from paranormal activity, guys. I don't. I run to it. I run towards it. I don't. I want the answers. Let's take a look at this. this is comical to me. We'll take a look though. This is also, well, I think we already looked at it on the last one, and it's the Zach Bagans brick one, the brick at the Goldfield Hotel. The video is a little bit longer. I clipped a smaller piece. He's like, "We're not scared of you. We have no fear of you." And then the brick flies, and he screams bloody murder and runs away. And he's screaming, "Go, run!" Ah! No. What are you doing that for? He got a lucky, and luckily he caught the brick fly away as he ran. So, I mean, he got a lucky catch, but are you going to run? Really? You're going to run? Why would you run? See, it's what's spooky about the paranormal is that it's unexpected. It's not scary. It's startling. If you walk into a room, you walk around the corner, somebody's right there. Does it scare you? No, you don't expect them to be there. It's, startles you for a minute. That's all it does to me, because you have to erase Hollywood. You have to erase the pre-programmed monsters and demons and all that, because that is Hollywood. That's not remotely close to being accurate. And it's not scary to me. How many times do these ghost hunters go out there to look for ghosts? They look for evidence. Now, there's people that are scared to death of that stuff. They go out of their way to avoid paranormal stuff. But these people hunt ghosts, and to be honest, guys, you don't find something at every location. You don't get possessed at every location like some of these guys on TV. Most of the time, you don't catch much. Maybe 1 in every 3 investigations, you might get a little bit of something. It's a daunting process. You got to really be motivated and be consistent. And you will get evidence, but it doesn't come like that. So you got to be patient, and certainly credibility is everything. I will not fabricate evidence. I won't do that. There's too much of that going on, and you could look up on, when you have some free time, look up ghosts on YouTube. It's nothing but fake stuff. Now, are those videos entertaining? Sure, they are. They're neat. They're fun to watch. But that's not that they don't give you any answers. And that's what we're after, right? The answers. Let's see. Also, here's a neat one. I don't know if you all saw this one, but when I saw this clip, this is what came to my mind. The real Mothman Prophecies, the movie. Now, I don't know how accurate. Well, one of the witness accounts talks about something flying up on the car, but I'll let you all watch for yourself. This is, when I saw this clip, this is what I thought of right here.
More dynamic.
Watch.
Paranormal force.
So what do y'all think of that? That's clearly, I don't know if that shocked the person. When you see them hit the tree, you can see like the energy expel out the front. So did it go into the car? Did it hit the driver and make them wreck? Or did it scare the living you-know-what out of them and then made them crash? To me, that is like exactly what happened in the movie. I've always experienced electronics going off and on, spooks hubby, but I'm used to it now. Well, that there you go, Sheila. Somebody's trying to communicate with you. That's what that is. Or just play with you. My mother-in-law, she's passed now, And I used to have fun with her. Um, she was, at the time I was working from home then. I just started my gemstone business. So I got to work from home, and she had a stroke. So she was on disability. So she would be home with me, and she would be watching TV. And I had two cable remotes. And on most cable remotes and any remote, there's a little button that says last. So whatever channel you turn to, you can hit last, and it'll bring you back to the last channel you were watching in case you bump the button and you don't know what channel you're on. You hit last, and boom, you're right back to it. So my mother-in-law would be changing the channel, and I would be laying there acting like I was asleep, and I would hit the button, the last button. And then she would start hitting the thing harder and harder, like that's gonna make it work, until I would see this, and she would hear me snicker. And it was like an ongoing joke. I messed around with her, but long story short, she passed away, and a couple months later, my wife and I were sitting in this place here downstairs where I used to stream from, and I changed the channel, and it kept changing back to another channel. And I started doing the same damn thing. And then finally I was like, all right, Mom, that's enough. I know, you're getting me back. And it stopped. I'm convinced it was her. And so there you go. So that's I've always thought. Now I have her cremains at my place, along with a few others. Where do these people go? Are they stuck? I don't think she's stuck. Do these ghosts, do they choose to stay? Are they bound to stay in one place? Do they go to another dimension? Do they check in from time to time? Does she show up once in a while to play a joke on me for her own laugh, for her own amusement? These are the things that I'd like to actually get the answers to. I don't know if we're allowed to have these answers. So that's what I'm looking for, guys. To get the answers that everybody wants. I see a lot of the shows, like, don't get me wrong, Zach Bagans is a pioneer in ghost hunting. He's done groundbreaking stuff. That being said, you have to also understand that he's been doing that for how many seasons? 19, 20 something seasons, right? So how many pieces of footage do you think he can come up with? He has to, in order to keep ratings, guys, he has to top it over. He has to one up it. And and I agree, it's getting a little ridiculous. And that's the general consensus with the Zach Bagans videos that I put up there. Although, I will still watch it from time to time. There are some things that, I'm a firm believer in if something works, you don't need to fix it. Sometimes the old tools that work are the best, better than new tools. Now they're using this thing where you can see like a stick figure on the screen, and it's supposed to like map entities in the room. So if there's an entity of a ghost is in the room, you're supposed to be able to see it. And if it's the shape of a human, you can see like a stick figure. And then if you say, raise your left hand, could you raise your left hand for me? And then you see the thing go up, the hand go up. I don't know how they're doing that. Obviously it's the technology it's mapping everything in the room by location and then putting it onto this. So who knows if that thing it works, if those are really ghosts, or if it's just a sensitive piece of equipment, and it's just the glitching is what it makes it look paranormal. I don't know. I know that the only time I've seen that a few times, that piece of equipment is impressive. Look, it is impressive. I'm not sure that you can say there's a person there, though, just because a stick figure popped on the screen. But the one time that I was really impressed with that piece of equipment was when Ghost Adventures crew investigated the Tiger King grounds in Wynwood, where was he at? Wynwood, Oklahoma, or something. So they investigated that, and anybody that's seen Tiger King knows that the guy's husband Travis was playing around with a gun, and he didn't think he could fire if he didn't have the clip in, and he was playing. He would come in and point it at people to play around, which don't do that, anybody. I mean, and if you see anybody doing it, tell them not to do it. It's very dangerous. But he was playing around. He put the gun to his head to freak the guy out. See, it's not going to do nothing. And he pulled the trigger and he killed himself accidentally. So they investigated. And in Joe Exotic's house, on the couch where Travis sat and played his video games, they were mapping what looked like a stick figure. And they believe they were communicating with Travis, and then they get the figure. The figure points towards this closet. They go into the closet. They dig through the top of it, and they find a hat with some pins or something on it that was special to Travis. And it's just laying in squalor. Nobody, it's obviously what was only special to Travis. Nobody else bothered to pick it up. They left it in filth. But that was. For them, who knows if they knew if there was a hat there or not? You know what I mean? Like that, with the credibility going down with that show, who knows if they placed that hat there, if it was if they didn't, and they truly found that hat from that entity on that device pointing at the closet, well, then that's highly impressive. But there's a lot of people in the industry that don't subscribe to that device. They don't think that it's as accurate as people would like it to be. When I bought my spirit box, what I bought was an SB7 spirit box. Now there's SB7 different versions of it. There's an SB11. There's several different kinds of spirit boxes. Now the SB7 is the original one that is proclaimed to be the better of the choices. Not the newest, but the best. Actually, the cheapest. So that's what I got. I've had a lot of radio interference. I've gotten what I thought was a response only a couple of times. But we're not using it as much. So we're going to be out there really trying to use that, see what we can catch with it. And if it doesn't work well for us, then we'll get something else and see if something works better than that. And then we'll do a show and compare the two and see, what we get. I just communicated with the guy that has an SB11. And then there's another one out there now, a spirit box that records it, and then you can play it back. And it has all kinds of features on it that are neat, but I have all these things. I don't need them built into one thing and have to buy the same piece. It's basically a couple of pieces of equipment rolled into one. So let's look at a couple of things, guys. Let's take a look. Now, shadow people freak people out. And they are kind of creepy because, when you're sitting there watching something and you see something out of the corner of your eye and it looks like a face just popping out around the corner just to look at you. And when you look, it sucks back around the corner and nothing's there. So, yeah, the way that they behave is very creepy and it would intimidate people. But I don't think that they're dangerous. And if they were brave, they would just walk right out in front of you and you could look at them and see them. But for some reason, they don't want to be seen and they try to avoid us. Why is that? Maybe shadow figures aren't human. I think that they are, but maybe they aren't. Who knows? We're going to find the answers. Eventually, we'll find the answers. So let's look at it. Let's watch a couple of things, guys.
It would surprise me a bit if they don't say my name right now.
After doing some investigation, he found that his house had once been owned by an undertaker, and that the residence served as a funeral home from the years 1906 to 1919. Kent began to post videos of his strange encounters to his YouTube channel, Ghosts of Carmel, Maine.
I'm uploading a YouTube video now.
In this investigation of his house, an odd voice seems to repeat what Ken is saying.
I think I heard a knock on that door.
Now, has anybody ever experienced something like that? Because part of this show is about doppelgangers, and I really haven't talked about that much, but is that a property of a doppelganger? Mimicry? What is that? I mean, what do y'all think that is? Do you think that's a negative spirit, or is that a human spirit kind of being a jerk, and copying him? I myself and my daughter have actually heard my wife's voice copied. There was a time here too, this place. To be honest, guys, I think something follows our family around. But we were in the basement, and my daughter came in. She came down in the basement. She's like, "Where's mom at?" I said, "Oh, she's at work," which she was. And from the first floor, would sound like she was yelling down the steps from the first floor down to the basement. She said, "No, I'm not." We both heard her voice. She wasn't home. And that happened twice in a 1 week period. Hasn't happened since, but it happened twice. I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. Growing up in my parents' house, I've heard their voices before when they weren't home. So this is something that I've personally experienced. And Sophie and Susie, you think they're demons? Sophie's a big paranormal investigator, so she'd be one to ask. She probably has investigated probably just as much as me. So it's everybody has their guess on what it is, and that's pretty much what it is. It's a guess. But this right here, this is why I pulled this, because the mimicry. It's a weird phenomena, and I've heard it happen over and over again in real life. And what is a doppelganger, though, guys? That's just somebody's copy. It wasn't made into something evil or like a paranormal thing till not too long ago. It's a German word, and it just means double. And it's a doppelganger is somebody that has the same face as you. Could be. And have you ever run into somebody that looks exactly like somebody else that you know? This one time happened to me. I was out at a retreat. I was in Nevada, and a guy came there that looked exactly like my friend Frank. It was freaky how much he looked like a friend of mine named Frank. The guy was there. The next morning, I found the guy left early. So he left during the night. He was there for 1 day, couldn't stay. He had to leave. The next morning, I have breakfast, and then I call my wife up. I said, "You're never going to believe this. There was a dude here, looked exactly like Frank." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that." Frank had just passed away a week before that, but she had just found out the night before and didn't tell me because I didn't call her. So the next morning I found out. So it was just weird. This guy shows up, doesn't stay, looks exactly like my friend, and then leaves. And then I find out he's gone. It's like, some people believe that that was him coming to visit me. Who knows? But it's just one of those weird things. His doppelganger showed up after he passed. So these are the things that happen in life, and there has to be a rhyme or reason to it. It's just too weird. Let's keep listening.
The tone of the voice almost sounds like the spirit is mocking Kent, but you be the judge.
I think I heard a knock on that door.
And the story gets even creepier. In this clip, Kent begins to hear strange noises and experiences an odd smell coming from his upstairs bedroom. So he grabs his camera and starts recording.
We're going to do a complete walkthrough. Hope you guys say something or do something. Oh my God! No! Oh.
So did Kent catch a shadow being on tape? Or is it all just a hoax? You decide.
Hope you guys say something or do something. Oh my God! No!
What y'all think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that's real. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that that's staged. And then I'll tell you what I think. I haven't seen any further, guys. I stopped it where they were doing the spirit box, and that's what that was. That was a spirit box that was going, and I stopped it there because of the mimicry. So I haven't seen that far. You think it's real, Westies? I'll wait till a few more people put their vote into the chat, and then I'll tell. Well, then we'll watch further and see if he reveals whether it's real or not. I think that. Well, you know what? Ones really? Okay, let's look again. Twos.
By the way, Ken has posted many videos of his ghost encounters over on his YouTube channel, Ghosts of Carmel, Maine. So be sure to check it out for his full ghost investigations. Something
you can see a shadow of that black shadow figure on the bed. So, do shadows have shadows? Is it a shadow of a shadow? I don't. It's just. I just don't know if I can get that one past. I don't think so. I think what gave it away. Really, to be honest, the YouTube channel. That's what gave it away. Because there's so many people that are staging things like cabinets opening, doors opening, things like that. Somebody sitting with a black sheet over them, things like it's deep. But these are the things that get hits on social media. And those of you that know me personally, well, you know me just from watching me on my other channels. I'm not into staging stuff. I'm not in this field of study to make shit up. I think that, yes, that's entertaining. That's fun to watch. It was neat to watch there, to hear the guy's reaction. Could you even sleep? Think about this. If that was real, could you sleep in that room ever again? Because if that was real, that would be that's something. If you wake up, your eyes pop open, and that's looming over top of you, you might have a possible cardiac situation there. Me personally, I can't take that type of blast to the ticker. So, like that, if something like that's over top of me, I'd have a hard time sleeping. So I'm leaning towards you don't catch it like that would be the holy grail of shadow figure catches. I think that, yes, it is compelling. It's neat looking. But when you stop it on the actual catch, and I think that's staged for cinematic effect. But, a lot of people do that. Let's see what else we got.
On the stairs. This next video was sent in to me by Ryan Hulse. Ryan claims that when he was younger, he would randomly see a large black mass, around 7 feet tall, at odd locations both inside and outside of his house. Of course, no one ever believed him. So one night he decided to try to catch the strange shadow person on tape. Almost 7 years later, and Ryan still has the video.
Right. Second date. It's been okay so far, but what the f? This is what I mean. Crazy. Is it like hello? Oh my god. Need the light on. Oh my.
Did you catch that? It was outside.
Oh. Oh my.
Just in case Just for the hell of it, I'll tell y'all, I have something like that on my front door, and I cover it up. Because just for safety reasons, because you never know if somebody comes to knock on your door and they just go like that, and they look in and they can see who's home, who's not home. Just for safety reasons, I cover that up. But that obviously is a tall black figure. Now, is it really black? Could that have been a human? That'd be a pretty damn tall human. But what do y'all think about that one? Was it staged, real, or fake?
Oh.
You know what really makes me lean towards not real? Because when you see a shadow figure, normally it's when you least expect it, or it's out of the corner of your eye real quick. And just to have your phone going with to be walking around with the light on and everything, and all of a sudden you catch it. To me, that's like it's staged, because once again, that's one hell of a catch. And do you know, if people don't investigate the paranormal, to catch something like that, you either are lucky enough to win the lottery, or it's staged, because you go through so many investigations to even catch something even remotely close to that. But that could be real. The stuff that's real definitely gets uploaded. So I'm just a diehard skeptic, y'all. It takes a lot to convince me. I'm not one of those people that say, "Oh, that's paranormal. All right, did you hear that? It's a ghost." It's probably a squirrel up in the attic. But that's the truth. You don't know. People are scared to look, and they automatically attribute it to ghosts. And it's just, you can't do that. You just can't do that, because 99% of the time it can be explained.
Phone's upstairs. Oh my. I need to light on.
Okay, let's see if we can find the next one. Okay, is that it?
Walker in the Woods. The Czech YouTube channel TV Twix decided to explore a haunted forest in the Czech Republic.
Staged. I'm just kidding. I don't know that. I'm gonna guess in advance. Whenever I see a group of guys with a YouTube channel that head out into the woods like that, I don't know. I mean, it's not something that paranormal groups go out in groups like that too, but right away I get a feeling of something's planned. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Too skeptical.
The typical spirit box session.
Oh, okay.
Začneme. Haló, je tu někdo? Kdo je tady s náma? Co říkala?
Strangely, shortly into the session.
Does anybody know what kind of spirit box that is by looking at it? I'm not. That's not what I have. I'll show you what I have real quick. This is what I have. This right here. This is an SB7, and this is the original spirit box. That is a souped up version, I guess, but I'm not hearing any radio coming through that. So let's see what we got.
The batteries on their camera and the spirit box both begin to die.
Happens a lot.
They call it quits. But by far, the strangest thing in the video occurs near the end. As they are wrapping up, they begin to hear strange noises behind them.
Well, to be honest, guys, I didn't see this one. I think that what they probably caught there is hey, they may have caught a Bigfoot. That certainly didn't look like it looked humanoid. Didn't look human. Kind of spirit box that a ghost hunting equipment site sells that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna look into them, Sophie, because I want the one that functions. I want the one that works the best. I want the least amount of radio interference and the cleanest white noise that I can get without interference. That's I see a lot of videos where people use the SB7 or the SB11. The radio comes through. You can clearly tell it's the radio, and I got a voice. No, you can tell it's a radio because the voices will span across multiple sweeps. And it's just not one quick bloop, 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 which is what you get with the radio, and it's frustrating to say the least. Let's see the replay if they do it.
Some dark figure seems to float across the path behind them and into the woods. They run to investigate, but find nothing there. So did they catch a shadow being?
Well, not for nothing. If they're chasing a Bigfoot, they ain't going to catch that neither because they are masters of evading humans. So that actually looked a little small for a Bigfoot. That's a neat catch. That I will put down as my vote being that seems like a good catch, a real catch. Not bad.
On camera? Or is it all just a hoax? You decide. Shadow Runner. Wesley Wolf had been out drinking all night with his friends on his birthday. When he arrived home early Friday morning, he found that he was locked out of his family home. Since he didn't want to wake his parents, he simply decided to hang out outside and play games on his PlayStation Vita until someone woke up. Then, he started hearing the neighborhood dogs going crazy over something. He decided to record a little video of the field around his house to see if he could catch whatever they might be barking at. He did capture it, but it was something much stranger than he expected. Wesley says that even though he didn't even notice the strange shadow, that soon after recording the video, a sudden wave of fear came over him.
Yeah, well, has anybody ever felt like somebody's watching them and they look up and somebody's looking at them? It's very much like if anybody's ever been to a place that's haunted, when you go into a place that's haunted, Sophie can attest to this. The Thomas House, for example, great place to go if you want to catch evidence. You'll probably get evidence almost every time. Great place for that. But when you walk in the front door, you feel it. Right away, you feel the energy because there's spirits. There's several of them there. So when you're in the presence of another energy, another human being, like have you ever had somebody standing behind you and you can feel them standing behind you without knowing or seeing them walk up? Same type of thing, because we are energy, guys, and you can feel that energy. So it's when I think about it very scientifically, and I kind of implore you guys to do the same. You can't just take people's words for it. You got to look at it analytically and look for an explanation. And science explains a lot of this stuff away.
He went and pounded on the door of the house until one of his parents woke up and let him in. So is this an odd trick of the light? Did Wesley...
What kind of kid doesn't have a key to his own house?
Just have a bit too much to drink that night? Or is this a real shadow being caught on camera? You decide. Just around the corner. On the YouTube channel HRJ Paranormal Adventures, a guy called Hillbilly Rob explores some creepy, allegedly haunted, abandoned places. In this video, he's exploring an abandoned nursing home. When he enters one...
Anybody that's interested in doing something like that, I would like to set up something with you know, a group of people and find a place like that to go. As y'all know, my wife is a nurse, and there is a wing where she used to work in the hospital that's unbelievably haunted. And in fact, they had a priest come in and do an exorcism on one of the rooms because the freaking blinds were flapping, scaring the bejeepers out of people. And like that other guy said, he felt a fear come over him, a presence. Nobody wants to even work over there, much less go over there and get equipment and things. So it's closed down now. But something like this, all the people that have passed, all the energy, all the emotion through here, this is like a freaking cornucopia of paranormal activity. So I would love to get into a place like this. So if anybody knows of one that's accessible, please let me know. And if you want to email me, famparanormal@gmail. Very simple. Same as the name, famparanormal@gmail. Or you can hit me up on IG, one of the two.
One particular room, his EVP meter goes nuts.
That's what I have. K2.
Okay. Dude, it is going off. Who's in here with us? No, that thing is going nuts.
He also receives a bizarre, unexplained scratch on his shoulder. But hillbilly
Don't get me started on scratches, guys. I don't believe in that stuff. You know, like it's always 3 fingers, you know, which is what scratchers. If you go scratch your leg, scratch your arm, and look at the way your hand scratch. Look at your fingers. Which 3 fingers are making the most contact? These 3 fingers: your pointer finger, your middle finger, and your ring finger. Sometimes people scratch with 4, but most of the time it's the 3 that really does the hard work. I don't buy scratches. I don't. And unless somebody's sitting in front of a camera and they don't have a shirt on or something, and they're sitting there on camera the whole time, and then you see something appear out of nowhere, then we'll talk. But this stuff, you know, this is one of the things when I talk about fabricating evidence, a lot of people will do this very thing, scratch themselves and say, oh, I feel a burning. Very, very, very rarely will anything ever touch you. And I've felt some things before, but when you walk through an energy, you know what it feels like? A spider web, like you're walking through a spider web. That's how it's felt for me. And I've heard other people say the same thing. You know, unless something tries to reach out and touch you, I don't know. I don't know anybody that's been legitimately scratched. I kind of think that most people make that up. You don't see the ghost hunters guys getting scratched. You don't. But you see all the other people, all the other shows. Somebody in the group gets lit up real good with scratches, and a lot of people like to fake possessions. The scratches, pet peeve of mine, guys.
Rob didn't even notice the most bizarre thing that he captured that night until he reviewed his video later. As Rob rounds a corner, he captures what almost looks like the shape of a head peering around the door.
That's what I was talking about, guys. You see how they're just barely observing us, and it's almost like they're scared of us.
Doorway. It's so quick, it's hard to even notice, but it actually seems to move back out of sight as he enters. But what do you think?
What do y'all think? What do y'all think of that one? That right there, that experience right there, I think probably most of all of us have seen something like that, or at least thought we did out of the corner of our eye. This is something that I've experienced many, many, many times. Only one time, there was only one time that I looked and there was something there, and that was years ago. It was at a different place. But normally that's what happens. It looks like just a little edge of a face, or maybe like what looks like a black piece of a black balloon kind of protruding around the corner. Very common. You know, what is that? That's shadow people phenomena. It's but a lot of people contribute that to demons, and I don't think so. You know, a demon just afraid of you. I don't think a demon would have fear of you. They would be right up in your grill. So that right there is a good catch. I like that. Sage, yes. And you know what else? My daughter had this in her room, and it's not sage, but I was looking at these. I was like, "What is this?" And it's some type of wood that can be burned. That's supposed to be similar to sage. I don't know if anybody knows what this is. I'm not too familiar with it. My daughter's into energy and sage and saging and cleansings and things like that. She's more knowledgeable about that, and I know more about, I learn more about aliens and things like that, UFOs, ghosts. She's not too much into ghosts, but energies she is, because they don't necessarily, well, they do go hand in hand, but as far as people's practices, there are people out there that don't believe in ghosts, but they use sage, and they like to cleanse their environments, and lighten the energy, and start with something positive, get rid of all the negativity. So that's always a good thing. That could never be a bad thing. And a lot of it, I think a lot of it's power of suggestion. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. I'm going to take y'all on a trip the next time. And there's a couple of other content creators in the paranormal genre that I've met in the last 2 days. And both of them would like to swap stories and possibly collaborate. So maybe we'll get a big old Friday night or something, late night ghost story session or something. And we'll all have fun together, meet some new people, and talk about the paranormal. And that it doesn't just have to be ghosts. We could talk about code. We could talk about mermaids, which is cool, because we just talked about that the other day. And he doesn't necessarily believe that it's a pretty woman with half of a fish body. He thinks it's more of like a cryptid type of thing. And I'm big into cryptids too. So if you want to talk about that type of stuff, Bigfoot, the dog man, werewolves, witches, the Loch Ness monster, any of those things, I'm down for that. Anything that's mythological, or just kind of get your beliefs going and makes you think. I'm down for that. So guys, smash that like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell, because I do upload stuff quite frequently. And the channel hasn't been here long, but it's here to stay. And I'm going to keep putting up content on a regular basis. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm very, very happy to see how many people hung out for as long as y'all did. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll see y'all soon. Have a great night, everybody.